You're just in time for NTV Property Show. Hello and a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Now, many of you may be thinking of buying land or already have parcels of land and don't know just what to do with it. Others may keep it for speculation, while there are those who are going the agribusiness way, putting up greenhouses and just ensuring that they get income returns. How do you go about this? We'll tell you in a short while, but first, here is the Property of the Week segment. 300 meters from the main road, right after the Matasia Shopping Centre, is Royman Estate, a gated community consisting of 10 units. Each unit stands on an 8-acre piece of land and is surrounded by a chain link fence and security lights at the front gates. A beautiful pillar stands majestically at the porch, and this can be changed according to the color preference of the buyer. Ceramic floor tiles interlace perfectly from the porch to the front door, leading to the living room. The living room exhibits both style and functionality. TV ports and sockets adorn the walls, with the accent wall catching one's attention in its distinct burnt orange color. Half moonlight sconces complete the picture. To bring in an oriental feel are the U-shaped curved openings, with one leading to the corridors where the rooms are and the other leading to the dining room. A pedestal wash, sink and mirror is at the corner of the dining for guests to use before wining and dining. There is an open space between the kitchen and dining room, allowing easy passage of food and beverages. The kitchen wall and floor tiles are in brown, bringing in a distinct difference from the dining room. MDF laminate cabinets and drawers are fitted for all your storage needs. The granite countertop allow for easy cutting while preparing food, while at the corner is the wash sink. A separate door leads to the pantry, which has blockboard shelving, providing one with more space to store kitchen items. A steel gate from the kitchen leads to the backyard. Back inside the house, the first U-shaped curve leads to the guest cloakroom at the corner, with mixed blue and white wall ceramic tiles that match with those on the floor. Outside the washroom is the wash sink and mirror. Of the two rooms on opposite sides, one is slightly bigger than the other. However, both are similar in terms of accessories. MDF laminate wardrobes with dressing mirror and ceramic floor tiles. The windows bring in ample natural light to brighten up the room and warm it up as well. One of the rooms is en suite, full with a wash sink and mirror, toilet and bath. Ceramic floor tiles are also exhibited in the master room, which is spacious and comfortable for two. Ample MDF wardrobes have been placed to consider the lady of the house, with enough room for storage. The signature blue and white floor ceramic tiles are in the master bath, blending perfectly to create a cooling feel. Electricity is prepaid and the development has close proximity to Matasia Shopping Centre. The main gate is manned 24 hours by a security company. Of the 10 units, only 2 are currently available. Each unit is priced at 5.5 million.
Have you been thinking of what to do with your backyard and are a little bit confused on how to go about it? Well, we'll give you an idea of putting up fish ponds here on our Property Essentials segment.
Last week, we looked at the benefits of having a pond in your backyard or garden. Although installing a small water garden or pond has been a home landscaping trend for the past several years, homeowners should also be aware that adding any plant or animal to a pond requires some sort of management. So today, we will look at the proper selection and care of pond fish. There are 2 main types of fish commonly kept in water gardens, the common goldfish and koi. Each of these has a different requirement for space and design. For the common goldfish, a small pond usually suffices owing to its generally small in size. The larger koi, however, needs a bigger pond and some kind of protection for plant roots as they often feed on them. A common mistake people make is putting too many fish in a pond. This is bad for the fish and for your water garden too. Overcrowding leads to excessive fish waste, which becomes odorous and fuels algal growth and eventually poor fish health. Not all water is good for fish. In fact, water from your local water company is likely to be harmful to your fish since it has been treated with chlorine. Luckily, if you let the water sit for a few days, the chlorine will dissipate. Secondly, the water should be warm enough for the fish. Water from pipes tend to be chilly and it is advisable to warm it up in the sun before you put the fish in. Remember that fish are cold-blooded and they need time to adjust to the temperature of their new environment. The best method, therefore, is to float them inside a water-filled container that they came in on the surface of the pond for a few hours before you release them. Ornamental ponds should be installed so that lawn runoff will not drain into the pond. Using plastic pond liners so nutrients will not soak into the pond from surrounding soil is also important. You can plant a buffer strip of plants around the pond to soak up those nutrients. All fish produce ammonia as a waste product. In a lake or a river, that ammonia is diluted, but in a small pond, levels can quickly build up and kill all the fish. Luckily, all ponds contain bacteria that can break down ammonia, but the compounds ammonia breaks down into are nitrates, or more fertilizer to promote algae growth. If a pond has an outbreak of algae, homeowners should remove as much of the algae as possible, check to see if the filter is clogged, and then seek help at the local garden center. If you leave algae in a pond system, it uses more oxygen than it produces. When algae is competing for oxygen with other plants and fish, the fish usually die. One way to counteract algae is to introduce rooted plants, which can absorb nutrients that would otherwise feed algae. The plants also shade the surface of the water, which prevents algae growth. Unfortunately, this means if you have any fish in the pond, you won't be able to see much of them. Homeowners who want a very low-maintenance pond can use floating leaf plants and a water dye that turns the surface black, preventing light and temperature from encouraging algae growth. You also need to provide lots of hiding places to protect your fish from predators. Planting lots of aquatic plants can help achieve this. Also, to keep away predators such as herons and other large birds, the edge of the pond should abruptly fall off by 60 to 90 centimeters so these creatures can't wade in to get the fish. Also, to keep away predators such as herons and other large birds, the edge of the pond should abruptly fall off by 60 to 90 centimeters so these creatures can't wade in to get the fish. You can also introduce heron decoys at the edge of the pond to frighten away other predators. Don't overfeed your fish. The general rule is that the amount of food they consume in 5 minutes is all they need. Uneaten food fouls the water and leads to algal growth. Overfed fish are unhealthy and also generate too much waste. The truth is, you really don't have to feed your fish at all. They can survive on natural foods in the water, but because it's so much fun to feed the fish, do it sparingly. Changing 20 to 40% of the water every 2 to 4 weeks and filtering the pond will reduce the problems that would develop. If possible, smaller ponds should be drained, cleaned and left empty during the rainy season.
Shortly, we'll be talking about agribusiness and real estate, but right after this short commercial break. Method of investment, commonly referred to as greenhouses for real estate plots, allow you as the land buyer give the seller a go-ahead to till and manage your land just in case you're not ready to construct immediately. That's what we're talking about on today's show, Agribusiness and Real Estate. With us is Abraham Murithi. He is the General Manager at Property Realty Company. It's great to have you with us. Tell us, how did the agribusiness concept come with regards to real estate plots?
Thank you very much, Mel. We're happy to have you guys and to share our vision to how we came about with this product. Basically, PRC has been around for about 7 years now, and we've been selling property. And land is very close to a lot of our people. So people kept buying land and land and land and land. And eventually they asked us, look, I have 7 properties with you, I have 8 properties with you. What do I do with them? And so we looked around and we realized Nairobi is growing. Initially, our food catchment area was Kiambu, was Limuru, but of late that has all been wiped out, and now we are having housing coming up. Yet the population of Nairobi is growing. About, when the census was done about 10 years ago, we were about then 4 million people. Some expecting now it could be about 6 to 7 million.
Yeah.
And you know, you can always share a house, you can share a meal, you can share clothes, but you never, whatever you eat is actually yours. So we realized we have to feed this country. There is a gap. And so we decided, why don't our investors, because the urbanite population is best served by the urbanite, because they're the ones who understand about the traceability you want, the quality of food you want, you know. Why don't you have them invest and feed the city? That's how it came about.
Came up with the concept of greenhouses. Tell us, what are the processes when a buyer comes in and buys this amount or parcel of land? How do you take them through it?
What I've realized is a misconception when it comes to greenhouses. And people say, I'm an agribusiness person because I have a greenhouse and I have some 8 somewhere. That's not it. Because basically what you're looking for is not just tomatoes and onions and capsicum. It's more about consistency, quality, and quantity. So what you're doing, look at it this way. We are creating an infrastructure of a community that is purely agribusiness based. Just like you'd go and buy a house in, I normally like to use Buruburu, yeah? When you buy it as a house, in and of itself is worth about 4 million shillings, basically the land and the infrastructure. But because it comes about in a place where there is order, right? Where there is electricity, where there is water, where there is internet, where there is transport and hospitals, the infrastructure for a living community is there. The value even goes up 6 times, yeah? It's the same thing. When you come into the agribusiness community, you're getting into a community of like-minded people. So in that community, you're not just building your greenhouse. You're building the water reserve tank. You're building the pumping systems, the storage systems, the marketing system, such that you don't have to wake up and say, when do I go and sell? What do I do with the produce? There's someone already marketing it for you. So that's exactly what you're looking at.
All right, so all your buyers have greenhouses, or can one decide that, okay, I don't feel like I should go this way?
When it is a Kilima Biashara product, if it's an exclusive zone, you are not allowed to build around that area. Because then the water in the pipes has chemicals, has fertilizers, has you know, fungicides sometimes if need be. We don't want you to stay there. It's not fit for you to stay. But it is fit for you to invest as a farmer. Over the weekday, you can take someone and tell them, look, here's my farm. That greenhouse there is mine. But believe me, you have no idea what is actually growing in there because it's a community.
So it is easier for the outsourcing of these consultants to come from you,
yes.
And the terms with regards to the buyer, you bring that out.
Yes, so we come to you, you give us your orders and how you want them supplied. If it's tomatoes, you want 50 kilos a day, 30 kilos a day, and we deliver to you as required at the same quantity. And on the other hand, you assure us of the market, you assure our customers of the market, and so it's a win-win situation. You're sure you'll get your produce, we are sure you'll get our customers, and you'll get it consistently.
All right, is it possible then for those who want to actually buy land but do not have the entire amount of money to buy it, to still come in and go through the same scheme?
Yes, when we began, as with any small thing, there's seasons where you give people time to pay. But now for you to come in, for you to get a greenhouse, you must first own the property, and then now we can then get the greenhouse done. And you're thinking of more than just greenhouses.
All right. And for those of the buyers out there who may be wanting to come in and look at the land in terms of speculation, can they still benefit?
Yes,
and
they can.
how?
Look at it this way. You bought that land when it was land. Now it's a community. There's greenhouses. There's a water reservoir tank that holds 500,000 liters of water. There is a generator there. There is all the infrastructure. Basically, it's like this guy who goes and buys a property off plan. Then the design is done and the buildings are done. Eventually, your capital appreciation moves much faster. Case in point, when you started selling Buni, you were selling the whole package for 950,000, 700,000 for the land and 250 for. Now the whole package is 1.2. Why? Because those guys went in and there was nothing. Now the roads have been done, connectivity has been done, the water is there. Isinya Kiserian Road is being tarmacked. So basically now you have a much more value. And now because you're in a community, the value grows even more. Now because the community is actually working and there are orders, your value grows even.
All right.
Yes.
When you look at these areas as you explore, what are some of the key things that you look at in exploring with this kind of concept?
One, we look at availability of markets. Always start with the markets. Then you look at the climate of the place, the resources you need. The water, does it rain enough? Kenya is heaven. You can grow anything.
That's
almost
true.
anywhere. The issue is, can you market it? That's where many of us fail. You have the greenhouse, you have the people, when they used to say I'm going into greenhouse farming, they go to maybe Amiran, get a kit, get started fast. They don't have the know-how. They don't have people who know what it is they're doing. So eventually it failed. And
people to actually advise them.
Exactly.
Well.
Now for us, what we've done as Kilimo Biashara is actually we've engaged an Israeli company to do their production for us. And the production is going really, really well. Then us being Kenyans, we want to do the marketing because we understand the market.
Yes.
So we have created a whole team that actually is looking for these orders. So yes, we are good to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us, how can a buyer ensure that they have income returns with this kind of scheme?
First and foremost, it is a business like any other. As long as you get your partners right, that is the biggest thing. Get the land company that you're dealing with, get a genuine, that can give you genuine affordable property. Then get people who know exactly what it is they're doing. Many people come and shout you can do agribusiness, but they have no idea where it is they're going, what it is they want.
Why would a Kenyan go into agribusiness, especially with those who have never done anything to do with agriculture? They're probably into housing, but they're trying to weigh their options. Why should they choose greenhouse for real estate plots?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? You see, that's a question. You see, at the end of the day, you'll build houses, but houses get also, it's a market demand and supply. And you can see in Nairobi right now, there are some markets that seem to be a bit oversupplied. I'm not saying there's any, it's normal with markets, because when you go to the other side, there's not enough supply of houses. So it's just in nature. And I'm thinking, you have a property number there. Why do you want to build a house there? Yeah? Why don't you do something that basically can actually earn you money and the market for it actually exists?
All right.
Yeah.
Is this sustainable?
As long as people wake up and say, look, I want my cabbage from a source I know. I want my sukuma not from the sewage. Then it will always be sustainable. It's the way of the future.
When we look at many real estate companies, and this is general, and you come up with concepts, especially with agribusiness, such as you've mentioned, there's some fears that these concepts are Ponzi schemes. Well, what can you say about that?
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah.
And I hear when people say that. First and foremost, this is what I'll ask you to check. Before someone pays you some dividend, ask yourself, have they sold? Have they sold the produce? Because if they have not sold the produce, it means they're getting money elsewhere to pay you. You get? A Ponzi is where I get money from somewhere else to pay you, right? Just that it becomes a stack of cards. For us, it's actually a business. We have all the infrastructure in place. But I understand when someone says, how can I make this $500,000 shilling from a greenhouse? You can't if it's one greenhouse. You can, because you will produce tomatoes. Then after 2 months, they're over. Then you lose your market because the guy who's on the market side wants consistency. Yeah. So you'll have to deal with brokers who know how to deal with people like you and who are unable to get to the market. The quantities are not enough for you to take to the market.
Great. You've mentioned about considerations that buyers should look out for. You've mentioned about whether one is selling and what you can see from their schemes. What else should buyers look out for?
Look at the partner who's selling you the property. Are they affording you the genuine property? That's number one. Before even, if you remember, the first thing you're buying is the land, right? Number two, as I said, figure out how are these people paying out what they're saying they will. Have they actually sold? Are you getting? Is it a business or is it money from somewhere? You know, I can easily go, for example, and take a loan and come and pay people. That's not a business. It's not sustainable. Number three, you need to look at what is the plan for. Go to the site, see. I mean, what do you see happening there? What is the track record of these people, right? Those are the three key things I'd ask you to look for. And then number four, remember, many people I see invest in real estate for rent. It is wrong. Do not expect to start earning immediately and buying a car in 3 months. Impossible. There is no business that works like that. There is no way I can sell you property worth 400,000 and you make $1 million. Exactly how does that work? You get? It's something that grows over time. This land has always been for the long term. Don't look at it for the short term. Okay. Yeah.
Going forward, what are your thoughts when you look at greenhouses and real estate plots? What are you seeing in future?
Kenya is a very interesting country, and I like it because we're in a season of change. About 5 years ago, you'd go and all you'd get is an old man with a check jacket selling you land. And 75% of the times you'd be conned. Now there came professional outfits like us who actually sold the land and it was genuine and affordable. So that barrier is crossed. So the next barrier people are asking is, what can I make out of what I have? So that's, for me, it's the next frontier. We're not just selling you land. Land will become an investment. Yeah? And people used to buy land for speculation. So you used to buy land everywhere and wait in the hope that one day you will sell it. But how about land that actually earns you, maybe not as much, but keeps a bit in your pocket as it appreciates?
All right.
Yeah.
Great methods of investment, especially when we're looking at agriculture. It's a great means of economy, and you as a land buyer can get yourself into it as well. And that's where we wrap up today's show. Thank you so much for keeping us company. Talk to us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, NTV Property Show. See you next Sunday as we bring to you more informative topics here on NTV Property Show.